Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. As always, thank you for taking the time out of your lives to listen to me speak and interview some people that I know. Today's special guest is Jessica Wang, who was a senior at Livingston High School, now is graduated and moving on to college. So, she was my classmate for sophomore year, 2021 to 2022. And yeah, we shared AP Biology together, so she was my AP Bio classmate. And yeah, she shares a lot of wisdom as well as her experience moving through high school. So yeah, I really hope you enjoy this episode. And we are live. Hello, Jessica. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you
Um,
for having
yeah, no problem, no problem. How are you today? And would you like to introduce yourself?
me. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well today. I'm sorry, I have like a sore throat, so I might like sound different.
That's okay.
Like, yeah, but yeah, my name is Jessica. I just graduated Livingston High School, um, this like like a few days ago. And yeah, I'll be going to NYU, for the next 4 years.
Nice, nice. Do you have any plans for the summer before, I guess, going to college? And are you excited slash anxious, for going into college?
Yeah, I'm kind of nervous because I mean I'm not as nervous because like I'm not going that far, but it's like a big city, obviously. So I'm kind of nervous for that. But in terms of what I'm doing with the summer, I'm working as a waitress right now,
Mm.
at a restaurant, and I'm also going to Spain in August for vacation. So yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. Are you excited for both of those? I mean, I guess maybe working a little less, but Spain.
Yeah, I'm excited for my vacation. Not so much about work, but I
Mm.
mean work is fun, but not as fun as vacation.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I got a chance to work last summer actually at Dunkin', and yeah,
Uh,
it wasn't the most enjoyable, but I think it's good definitely to still be out there. I don't know. I guess serve other
make,
people. Yeah,
yeah.
and make some money. Yeah. All right. I guess becoming, or I guess graduating Livingston High School, and I guess becoming a soon-to-be college student. What kind of do you envision yourself getting out of college? I guess like, what kind of subject area do you plan on studying? And yeah, are you sure you want to go into that subject area, and why that subject area? I don't know.
Yeah. So right now I'm going into NYU as a business major. And I'll probably be concentrating in finance and like something else. Like I don't know what the other thing is, but I really want to explore like the intersection of like business and healthcare. Well that's like my view on it right now. I think it'll change as I progress in college. But yeah, just focusing on the intersection. Also, I kind of want to maybe like minor in computer science because I know that's like really a really important skill nowadays. And yeah, that's so far like what my that's how I see like my college
Mm.
trajectory like going in. Yeah.
Is this something you always like envisioned yourself going into or studying, or is this something that kind of came up through the years, or is this something you're still unsure about? I don't know.
hmm yeah, in the beginning of high school, I was definitely like I was more interested in like pre-med kind of in that I was trying to go in that direction. Um so because I was like I had a pretty good interest or a pretty deep interest for science and like math. But I guess as I progressed through high school, I realized that like I don't know if I liked science as much to kind of go in that like pre-med direction. And I started like taking on more leadership positions in school.
Mm.
And that kind of that's when I discovered my interest for business and kind of just like leading people, like organizing projects. And I also joined like FBLA and did like a competition there. And that's kind of when I knew that like business was kind of direction that I wanted to be in.
Right, right. Okay.
Mhm.
Shifting a bit towards, I guess, less from college and more towards your experiences in high school. Could you provide some insight into the path you took as a student? Would you say you were more of a, I don't know, a high achiever, maybe someone who took, or like, I guess, learning came to them pretty easy, pretty hard? I don't know. Uh, I guess some insight there.
Yeah. I would say that yeah, I would consider myself like a high achiever, but not like I don't think learning came like easy to me, to
Mm.
be honest. Like I felt like I had to work pretty hard to get the grades that I got. So yeah, I wouldn't say like I'm like a natural or anything. Like it's just like a lot of work
Yeah.
put into it
Mm.
to kind of get the results that I wanted to.
do you feel fulfilled in that work? Do you wish maybe you took a little bit time off from school to maybe spend time with family or friends, or do you believe like, I guess, do you feel fulfilled in your what you did as a high schooler?
Mhm. Um, yeah, I would say that overall, I think I feel pretty fulfilled. Like, I think I was able to balance like social life and also like academic life like
Mm.
pretty well, at least like for my standards of like what a good balance looks like. So yeah, overall, I would say that I'm pretty fulfilled with what I've accomplished over the years or over the past 4 years.
Nice, nice. Okay. Um, let's see here. So when as a student slash person are you your happiest? When are you, I guess, the most proud, and when are you the least happy?
Like academically,
I don't. It doesn't have to be just school. This is kind of, I guess, shifting way in towards just it can be in your personal life. It can be whatever you take the question as.
yeah. So I guess like in general, then, I'd say I'm the most happiest when I'm able to do everything. Or when I'm honestly, I think I'm the most happiest when I'm like the most busy,
Mm,
but specifically like busy with things that I really enjoy. So I would say like for example, I think this year, like so I also do like figure skating like outside of school, and that's something that I really enjoy. So I'm like the most happiest when I'm able to balance both figure skating and also like academics like well like seamlessly, and that doesn't always happen, but like when it does, I'm like very like fulfilled and satisfied with that.
nice, nice.
And then oh sorry.
No, no, no. Continue, continue.
Oh yeah, I think you asked about like least happy, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. I guess.
Um I mean, I try to like stay positive, but I mean that doesn't always happen. I think I'm like the least happy when I'm like not able to do everything that I would like, or like not able to like balance things correctly. Yeah, I would say like yeah, when I'm not able to balance like things I like figure skating in school, sometimes it gets really overwhelming. And then I fall behind in classes and also like in sports. And that's when I'm the least happy because I feel like I'm not on top of my
Right,
game.
right. And how do
Mhm.
you deal with those kind of things? I mean, I know from my own experiences, still being a pretty young student, and when stuff like that comes up, when I feel overwhelmed, I don't know. Usually for me, it might not be the best tactic, but for me, it's just like, put my head down, I guess, take it in, and then I guess grind through it. But I don't know. Do you have a similar strategy? Maybe something else, go to other people for help? What do you do to kind of deal with these things?
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like I go to people for help.
Mm,
Sometimes like I like personally I like to like rant to people, so at least to, like my friends and like close friends and family. Just like to talk out like my emotions. And also I think another important thing that's helped me a lot over the years is kind of just like learn from past mistakes.
mm,
Um, in terms of like past mistakes, like time management, like poor time management skills, and like poor communication, things like that. That has um that has hindered me in the past. Like those, like having like poor time management skills and poor communication with like teachers, for example, that has prevented me from like balancing like academics and figure skating in the past. And I've kind of learned from those mistakes. And over the years, I've been able to like not repeat them, which has helped me kind of be more happy
mm.
in both realms.
Have there any like specific mistakes that you remember or like you learned a lot from, or was it just like an accumulation of those?
Hmm. There's like, sorry. I think in the beginning, like when I first started high school, I really like procrastinated like a lot. Like I still do, and I think like most people do. But
Yeah, yeah.
in the beginning, like if I were to like miss a week of school for skating, for like a skating competition, I would like make up all my work when I come back, and I've realized that that strategy does not like that's like not effective because then you're just like more behind because when you come back from school a week later, not only do you have to make up all that work, but you also have to like learn new things and do more work.
Right.
So over the years, at least like this past year, I've really made an effort to complete all my work before I leave for that week. And then so that what the week when I come back, I have all that work done and then I could then I'm back on track with the class. So that's something I think that's like the biggest thing that has helped me in terms of like balancing school and skating and just like kind of being more like stress free.
And how did you go about doing that? Like overcoming this will to procrastinate, I guess. I'm particularly interested in this because I am someone who does procrastinate myself. I'm sure a lot of people do as well. But yeah, where do you find, I guess, the willpower to do all this before the last minute?
Yeah, I still honestly like I'm still kind of guilty of procrastination, but not as much as before.
Mm.
But I guess like to address your question, like the willpower, like how I am motivated to do this, it's because that I've like when I realize that when I do procrastinate, um, I tend to like I'm like super stressed. I'm really unhappy. I'm really unproductive. Like my grades go down. Like I just realized that like when I procrastinate. So then to avoid all of that, I know that the only way to avoid that is to not procrastinate.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like learning from my past failures and just like not wanting to fail again.
Right.
So that yes, that's kind of like why I'm more inclined to like not procrastinate so that I don't repeat previous mistakes.
All right. So correct me if you're wrong, but correct me if I'm wrong. But you seem like a really motivated person. Especially for achieving, or I guess like high standards in school. Getting a good grade and I guess overcoming this procrastination. Where did you get this motivation from? I know this is more maybe a more challenging question or a more personal question, but I guess is it more because I know a lot of people maybe are pushed by their parents to do really well, or some people find internal motivation or by their peers, right? Where do you kind of find yourself on that scale, I guess?
Like where I get my motivation from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I would say that I get most of my motivation internally.
Hmm.
Like I think my parents definitely support me. But I would say that like I guess the motivation to kind of succeed and like try hard and like try to do well comes from like inside, like yeah, just internal motivation.
And have you ever wondered why that is? Why you want to succeed in such a way? I mean, I know this is like kind of a
Mhm.
really hard question to answer, but I don't know. I think it's interesting at least to consider.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, I'd say that like I think I try to strive for like personal fulfillment. I kind of like set goals like or yeah, I do set goals like in school and especially like in skating, because I'm more passionate about like skating than school. But like,
That's
um,
okay.
but I try to like set goals, like kind of like in my head about like things like benchmarks that I want to reach in the future or like in the near present. Um, and these are just goals that I keep to myself. I don't tell anyone else. And that's kind of like where my source of motivation comes from. I just want to achieve these goals and feel like personally fulfilled.
Right. Yeah, for me, I would also say I'm generally a internally driven person. But I mean, there are times where I do feel like slightly less motivated, right? And you
Yeah,
can see
same
that in
here.
this podcast where, at first I was posting, but yeah, I went on like a half a month, not half a month, like half a year absence, but that's okay.
That's okay. You're
Um,
back on track. Yeah.
yeah, we're back on track. But yeah, for me, I always wanted to succeed as well. Yeah. Um, I guess my like goal in life, or not goal in life. I'm still really young, but my goal right now is to be like successful, right? To almost be like what my parents are. Someone who, people who, move from a foreign country. Well, I don't have to do that, but like they came from hardship and then they achieved such great things, right? They raised a family, they provided wondrous economic and social opportunities for me. But yeah, also I don't know. I think a large part of it is just like a competitive drive. I don't
Mhm.
know about other people, but I just want to not be better than other people, but like I want to be top of the class sometimes.
Yeah.
I feel like that's definitely a big part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Okay.
could do it. I've seen you in my bio class. You can do it.
um, I guess we can go to that then. Takeaways from bio class. So, for the people or the viewers, Jessica is my classmate in our bio class, AP bio class with Mr. A's. How was that this year?
Oh yeah. Honestly, like I enjoyed bio. Um, I mean, like I said, I kind of like when I chose bio as like my class or like when I was like choosing my classes for this year, I kind of just wanted to take like another science class. Like I think by this point, I already like shifted my interest to business. So
Right.
for me, bio was kind of like an extra class to kind of like learn more things about science. So, and I think it was definitely a challenging class for sure, but I felt like we learned like so much.
Yeah.
Like our whole notebook, there's like 20 tabs with like every single subject. It's like we learned so much and it
Yeah.
was a really interesting class.
Would you say the beginning of the year was the hardest part, or do you think there was a I don't know, I feel like that's a large consensus from a lot of people who took PBio that the beginning of the year was super hard, and that's when unfortunately when a lot of people drop. But yeah, I don't know. Would you say that?
I would say that I mean overall I just remember the DNA unit being really
uh,
hard.
yeah, yeah.
Um wait, was evolution in the first semester or second semester?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
First semester?
I could be wrong. I don't know.
I
I
feel
like
like
forgot now.
I was the
I remember the things we learned, but I don't remember how we learned them.
same. Yeah, I don't remember the timeline either. But I've honestly for me I think both semesters were like equally like in terms of like challenge like the difficulty they were kind of like equal because at least for me like a lot of first semester was like chemistry or like at least part of it was like chemistry and I already took chemistry last year so that helped me a lot
Right.
with the first semester material so overall I think like personally I think kind of like the same in difficulty actually.
Nice, nice.
Mhm.
Um, I guess could you go into then some other parts of the classes you took, or like what was your favorite subject? And I know you want to focus more on business. Did you take or like when it comes to taking class in that area, what were some
Mhm.
of your favorites? What were some of your biggest takeaways, etc.?
Yeah. I guess yeah, my favorite class that I took last year AP economics. I mean, personally I'm just really interested in like the economy, so it really catered to my interest in that.
Mm.
And I'm pretty like an I would say I'm pretty like analytical person. So we analyzed a lot of graphs in that class and just like talked about like economic topics that were like going around in the world or that were going on in the world. So I really like that class overall.
Mm.
Um, sorry, what was the second part of the
I
question?
just like biggest takeaways from those classes.
Um,
Like
from like my economics class,
yeah,
like
or any class.
first any class.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
We can start with economics if that's
I mean, I don't know about like like the most important thing I learned, sort of.
kinda. Yeah, I mean you can take the question however you want to. But I feel
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I would say that for economics, like I didn't realize like wait, first of all, have you taken it yet or are you
I took
planning?
intro to business number
Interview?
one for the school requirement, but yeah, I do plan on taking it. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess like, what kind of the class did you enjoy the most? And I guess yeah, like why would you recommend it to someone else? I guess that's maybe a better question.
Hmm. Yeah. Economics, I think it's just like it's a really relevant topic. And you kind of it's really not like a simple topic either. In that class I really learned about like the inner workings of the economy, how like many things like so many things like affect each other. It's kind of like a chain reaction. Um, kind of like how like borrowing more money from like your local bank can in the long term like affect a lot like interest rates and things like that. Um, and it was just like a lot of like cause and effect sort of like concepts that were really interesting. Um, yeah, that's sort of like I would say that's the biggest takeaway. Yeah.
All right. Um, how are AP tests?
Oh, her AP test like this like overall.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, oh, I guess this is another good insight, I guess. So you took some classes online, right? With everything being, I
Yeah.
guess, going through the pandemic. Yeah. Sorry, that kind of phrase it like outside of school, but yeah, we had the pandemic and
Mhm.
online school. How did you take that? How was that compared to I guess school in person? I mean, luckily you were able to have your senior year in
Yeah.
school with everything that was going on. I know people like missed graduation and prom and stuff like that because of the
Yeah.
pandemic, but luckily you guys were able to catch it. But yeah, how was that? Did you have any struggles, any successes, etc.?
Yeah, I think overall, online school was definitely much easier than in-person school. I think for me the biggest part why it was easier is because it wasn't as like physically like exhausting because we kind of just had to like, at least in the beginning it wasn't as physically exhausting because we were kind of just like sitting, like I mean for me I was just like kind of like sitting in my room all day just like switching between Zoom links, so
Right,
I
right,
wasn't very like active, so it was definitely like less tiring. But I'd say like over time, like towards the end of like the pandemic or the end of the um like the Zoom like era, like however you call it, it got more exhausting because it just became really repetitive. Kind of just like sitting in the same spot all day and
right.
then joining different classes from like the same spot. It just kind of got like really like boring sort of. So that's why at the end of the year I went to like I went into like the hybrid like
Right.
where I chose that option. And that was definitely much better for me because it was just, change of pace. But yeah.
Yeah. Uh, Unfortunately, I didn't take the hybrid option, and I think that's something I kind of regret. Just because I think then the start of this year was a big wake up call when it comes to number one, yeah, the change of pace, and then number
Mhm.
two, I guess like when it comes to just that dynamic of the classroom and like
Oh
workload
yeah.
and stuff like that. Yeah, but that's okay. uh, I was too lazy to come into school, but taking a step back now, and as someone who has just recently graduated, how do you view high school as a whole? I guess your high school career, or just I guess your experiences as a whole, and I guess could you also bring in maybe some of the aspects of how you viewed school when you were still in it, and like how that kind of compares?
Hmm. Yeah, that's a good question. I feel like high school, like overall, was definitely like it was definitely a learning experience. It was for me, it was more like trial and error, like and just really trying not to repeat, or not even trying, like actively not repeating mistakes that I've made. So I feel like ninth grade, like I was honestly kind of like a mess. And then like I think now, like I've learned from all my mistakes, like ninth grade, 10th grade, 11th grade. And then now that I'm graduating, um, yeah, it just feels like I don't know. I just feel like I became like almost like a different person
Mm,
because of all the things that I've learned. Well, not just like literally, like not just in school, but also just like outside of school, like time management. Or I guess those things are in school too, but like just like yeah, just like time management, like social skills, and just like learning how to like make friends and like interact with people, things like that. So yeah, I would say high school was definitely a transformative experience. I know that sounds like really deep, but I truly feel like I'm definitely not the same as I was when I was first in high school.
mm. Yeah, yeah. Are you gonna take that mentality into college? Take it as a learning experience, or um,
Mhm.
okay, nice, nice. Okay, I just want to
Yeah.
open the call, I guess, to you, and if you want to ask me any questions, because I know this has mostly been one
Mhm.
sided, where I've been asking you, but you've been giving really good answers, so I guess now just a
Oh,
chance
thank
for
you.
you to ask me questions.
Oh yeah. Um, how do you feel going into your junior year? I know that's notoriously like the hardest year. I mean, not personally, it wasn't for me because it was during COVID, so it was
Hmm.
less hard. But for you, like, how do you feel about it?
Well, I mean, I'm definitely anxious, and already just seeing the summer work, I think that's kind of like
Oh
a
yeah,
big indicator. Yeah, but I think
I
it's
feel
definitely
like.
manageable, and I know I'm taking a lot of hard classes, but yeah,
Mhm.
or at least I plan on taking a couple APs. We'll say that, and
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. I guess I am number one pretty nervous, but I'm also kind of excited. I think um, AP Bio this year as well as U.S. History.
Oh
Yeah, it
yeah,
was kind of a challenge, but yeah, I look
yeah.
forward to that. I think seeing the grade and all that we've worked through, or I've worked
Mhm.
through as a student, I think that's definitely uh very fulfilling. And yeah, I think it's a blessing to have this opportunity to really challenge myself. Yeah. I don't know. That seems like a really optimistic.
No, it's good to be like that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know, but I think when the year does roll around, I think it'll hit me, and then I'll despair a little bit. But good to stay hopeful now. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that like since you did AP Bio and also like US one, I saw you have Mr. Cunha, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw it on your podcast.
yeah.
Yeah, I think he's like an amazing teacher. So you should be prepared for next year because you already had like such a rigorous course load this year. So next year you should be like I have confidence that you'll be able to succeed next year.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right.
Um, oh yeah. Also, like, what do you see yourself doing like in college and like beyond? Like, what is your like long term plan?
Mm. So I kind of identified with I guess the first part of your high school career. I know you shifted more into business, but I guess prior to that, like wanting to go into pre med. I don't, the story goes both my parents were doctors in China, so um, they obviously moved to the states, and unfortunately because of circumstances, language barriers, stuff like that, they weren't able to find residency here. But just their stories of like being able to help people and stuff like that, that really inspired me. So yeah, pre med is definitely something I want to go into, and then after that, eventually becoming a doctor. I know that's pretty stereotypical when it comes to like Asian careers and like pursuits, but I think it's for me at least. I think it's a reasonable thing to want to go into, especially because I've gotten a chance to be in the hospital for volunteering, stuff like
Oh,
that. Yeah, and it's all very exciting. Yeah.
nice. I mean, it seems like you like bio from like your interactions, like in AP Bio. So that's like a good sign, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I always push myself to be like the one that asks the most questions and stuff like that, and be the most engaged. This year, a big thing for me was if I have the choice of seat to sit in the front row. Yeah, I don't know. That's like sometimes that's like an arbitrary thing, but yeah, that was for me. And then yeah, definitely bio my freshman year while we were online and stuff. It was definitely still my favorite and best subject. So yeah, bio this year was kind of like an obvious choice, even though it was like still a challenge, right? Yeah, but
yeah, because you're only like a sophomore, and that's like really early, or
yeah.
not like well, that's like the earliest basically you could take it in school. So,
Well, I mean, there were some freshmen that took the AP, so
oh,
yeah.
oh boy.
Prodigies, nah. All right. Any other questions?
Um, Oh yeah, what do you do like do you have any like passions like outside of school or
Right.
mostly
So
like in school? Yeah.
podcast number one.
Oh yeah.
I guess it's been a passion. I've been getting more into it as the summer progresses. Right. I've been
Mm-hmm.
able to interview a lot of my teachers. Not a lot, like a couple of my teachers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's definitely been. There's a lot of wisdom that people have, which is really why I started this. I thought it was originally, I guess, to voice my own opinions because I am a pretty opinionated guy, but no, I honestly, looking back at that, I don't like that idea. It's more of, yeah, just like bringing people, like yourself, right, who have a lot to say and also, a lot of wisdom to give. And then, I guess outside of that, I do play volleyball, for the school
Mm-hmm.
as well as for clubs, but I'm not great. If anyone has seen me in real life, I'm not the tallest, so and I don't jump the highest, but it's okay. It's okay. I do it for fun, and then other than that, my life's pretty boring. It's been mostly school. I do some other academic stuff and like hospital volunteering outside of school, but yeah, those are mainly it. I don't know. I don't. Maybe I don't have something as big as like ice skating is in your life, but yeah, how is that? Um, how'd you go about finding that hobby? I guess, and why do you love it so much?
Oh yeah. How do I Yeah, I started when I was 10 years old. So not like that like no, not like that early. Like I know some people that start when they're like 3 years old.
That's okay.
Um
Prodigies. No, no.
but
Continue, continue.
when I start, yeah, so I started when I was 10, and I think I started because my parents signed me up for like Learn to Skate, which are basically just like group lessons at like the rink like near the zoo.
Mm.
And ever since then, I signed up for. My parents also then signed me up for like a synchronized skating team. So I don't know, like, are you familiar with like what that is? Because I know some people don't know what that
Well, that's
is.
like group skating, right? Just
Yeah,
I don't
pretty
know how to phrase it, but it's
much.
like I think I get the concept. I mean, do you want to explain it? You can explain it if you want.
I mean, it's pretty like, yeah. It's not the most common thing. Like, it's not an Olympic sport yet. I don't know
Mm.
why it's not, but
Okay.
it's like 20 or 16 people on the ice,
Mm.
and just like doing different formations on the ice. It's really, honestly, it's like definitely a spectator sport. It's like super cool to watch and even cooler to be a part of.
Mm.
But yeah, basically, my parents signed me up for a synchronized skating team, and then since then, I've kind of like progressed through the levels and like moved up. And then when I was in ninth grade, I moved to a team in like Connecticut to kind of like advance my career. I mean, it's not like that big of a commitment. It's only like on the weekends, so it's not
Oh,
like.
okay. Wait, so do you go to Connecticut or how does this work?
Um, yeah, I kind of where my parents they drive. Well, I carpool with some other people
Mm.
that are around here, and um, we kind of like all go to Connecticut, like, or we go to New York on Saturday and then Connecticut on Sunday.
Mm.
And then this past year, um, I switched to a team in like Hackensack, which is in New Jersey,
Mhm.
to kind of advance my career even more. So I've kind of jumped around, but like
Nice, nice,
always try to be on like a upward trajectory.
nice. Is that someone? Is that something you want to pursue? Post secondary and I guess post college.
Um, I used to want to do it, but I don't know. I've gotten like a lot of like injuries that have kind of like hindered me to be able to kind of continue this like in college
Mm.
and beyond. Like I just feel like physically, like I really want to do it, but physically, I don't think I'm capable of taking care of myself well enough to be able to kind of like, because it's a very like physically intensive sport. So I just don't think it's like feasible for me to do this in college. So as of right now, I think I've kind of unofficially like retired. Yeah.
Peaked in high school. Nah, it's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Um, we've kind of shifted back to me asking you questions. Do you have any final questions or anything else you want to ask me? And then we're
Mm.
closing in, not closing in. I think we already passed the 30-minute mark. I want to be respectful of your time, so we can wrap up.
Okay, don't
Yeah.
worry. Um,
Um,
oh yeah, kind of like, yeah, I guess a question for you would be like, what like appeals to you about like being like a physician or like a future physician?
mm,
Like, is there anything that like, is it the science behind it? Is it the interaction with people? Like, what kind of like, what's your like motivational factor driving
right.
you towards that career path?
Right. I think it's kind of both, because I think if you're entirely to go into like the science part of it, I think you would go into like research instead
Hmm.
of being a doctor. I think if you were entirely focused on human interaction, I guess you might not pursue something I guess intensive as educationally intensive as like a doctor or something, right?
Yeah,
Because you have to go through these many years of school training, certification, stuff like that. And so yeah, I think it's a bit of both, and yeah, I definitely appreciate like the conventional answer where like as a doctor you're helping people,
hmm,
but also
yeah,
yeah, just like learning how to do that, and then I guess yeah, just understanding how this stuff kind of works, and then yeah, being able to treat it. I think that's definitely a big part of it. Yeah.
yeah. It's very like I feel like it's a very fulfilling career path.
Mm.
Like if you have the interest, if
Right.
you have like the interest in it, yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Anything else?
Um, I mean, yeah, there's not much else. I don't think so.
Okay, that's fine. Thanks for asking me questions. Um,
Thank you for asking me questions too.
yeah, yeah. And then we can close. I always close with these three or four questions. Or
Hmm.
not always, but like yeah, I've been trying to because I think they're pretty important when it comes to each every person's perspective. And so the first question is if you could give an important piece of advice to your younger self who is just about to enter, I guess, high school as a freshman, what advice would you give to yourself? And it doesn't have to be like general some life advice. It could be very specific as well, like take this class or whatever, whatever. It could be whatever.
Hmm. Um, let's see. I think hmm, there's like a lot that I would say.
That's
So
fine. You can say it all.
I'm trying to
Um,
like narrow it down. I would say, oh boy. Okay, I would say don't um or wait, not don't. Step like definitely this is cliche, but like it definitely applied to me. Just like step outside your comfort zone.
mhm.
Um sorry, that's like so bad. I feel like there's like
That's
better
okay.
things,
That's okay.
but I just like can't like think of it at the moment.
Mm.
Um or wait, actually no. That's like okay, yeah, definitely step outside your comfort zone. Because I think it's just like I feel like there's been a lot of times when I've like underestimated myself um like academically and also like outside of academics. Um but I feel like yeah, especially when I was a freshman, I think I had pretty bad like imposter syndrome. And especially that kind of like escalated in like 10th grade.
Mm.
And I mean I think now it's like I think I'm fine for the most part, but I always like overestimate my peers and I think I'm like not a lot of times I don't think I'm like capable of accomplishing something, whether it's like taking a harder class or like trying out for like a new skating team or something like that.
But,
And I would just say like, so I guess it's not like really stepping outside your comfort zone, but like don't like you should believe in yourself. Like if I
mm.
were to tell my younger self, like believe in yourself, believe you could do it. Um, know that you can do it, and it's all in your head. Most of the time, it's in your head. It's not that you actually can't do it. You're just thinking that way. If anything, like overestimate yourself because I feel like you want to like push your boundaries. You want to if you want to like strive to achieve new goals, you really have to believe in yourself because if you don't, like it's not going to happen. So
Right.
just have a lot of trust in yourself that you can do it. So
Good.
that's what I would tell my younger self.
Nice. Nice. Good piece of advice. And is there a piece, or I guess, what kind of piece like of advice did someone else give to you that you kind of held dear? Is there something like that, or
Mm,
that was badly phrased? Like, I guess,
no, I think I get what you mean about that. Yeah. Um, another. Oh yeah, actually, yeah, I do have something. So I remember someone telling me, actually, this is pretty recent, and it really like resonated with me. Um, a friend of mine told me like, try to the like you want to try your best with everything you do, but try to the point where you get like try like the minimum amount to get the result you want. For example, like if you could get like today you have like a test, if you can get an A with 1 hour studying, you don't have to study for 8 hours straight to
okay,
get the same grade. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to over try to the point where you get the same like you don't want to over try and get the same result. You kind of want to try kind of like the least amount to get the goal that you want.
right,
Yeah.
all right.
Mhm.
And these two last questions might be, I guess, the most personal we've been so far. Are you satisfied with what you've accomplished? Number one as a student, number two as a person. You know, someone who has relationships with their families, their friends. You know, like a future college student. You know, that's more student side. But like someone like a person, right? A member of society. Are you satisfied with what you've accomplished so far?
I would say that like I feel like I haven't really accomplished much like to benefit like society like that. Like I don't think I have done much for that, unfortunately. But I think for like my personal fulfillment, I think I've accomplished a lot of my own goals, or honestly like many of my own goals that I've set throughout high school. So yeah, personally, like I would say that I'm pretty like proud of myself for that. But yeah, I feel like I wish I had more opportunity or I wish I seized more opportunities throughout high school to kind of do more like volunteering and like kind of like helping out the community because I feel like I don't know, I feel like I just did a lot of things that I liked and not things that kind of like helped other people, and so I wish I did that
Mhm.
more.
That's okay. And last question to kind of wrap us up. Are you happy?
Like at the in this like current moment.
It can be anything. However you take the question. Are you happy?
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah. Do you
Nice,
want me to
nice.
elaborate or like?
It's up to you. If you want to elaborate, then you go ahead.
Yeah, I would say that I'm happy. I think I've been happy like this past year at least because I mean just like getting to college is like a huge relief already. Like
Right.
I'm sure like when you do, you also feel the same way. It's like just like a huge burden off your shoulder because yeah. But also like on top of like college, I'm also just like pretty excited for the future. I'm excited to kind of like explore like the business world, the finance world, and kind of dabble in other interests that I have. And yeah, I'm just excited to, be in a new city and like meet new people, learn things that I'm like actually interested in. And yeah, I feel like there's a lot that I'm excited about, which is why I'm like optimistic at the moment. Yeah.
Nice, nice. All right. Um, Thank you for coming on the podcast, Jessica.
Thank you for
Um,
having me.
yeah, I would shake your hand, but we're not in person this time. But yeah, thank you again for coming on. Your answers were great, and yeah, thanks for your time.
Okay. Thank you so much. I had a really good time.